District 1, James David.
Here.
District 2, Glenn Quibido.
Here.
District 5, Steve Jones.
I'd like for Ms. Becky to lead us in the prayer, please, and Mr. Quibido lead us in the pledge.
Father, we come to you today. We ask for your guidance and blessings as we need to discuss and hear how we can best serve the children of Acadia Parish. Lord, we just continue to thank you and praise you for all of the resources and things that you've given us, and we ask you to continue to provide. Amen.
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 Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And switch to call, and switch to budget.
Thank you, Ms. Atkinson, and thank you, Mr. Quibido. Item 2.1, review budget to actual comparison on the general fund and all special revenue funds. Mr. Justin.
Good evening, everyone. Turn to page 11, has the summary. Basically, revenue collections for the general fund as of Friday, $11,581,747 for revenue collections at 12.74%. Expenditures are at $12,848,491 at 14.03%. Expenditures always lead at this point of the year because we don't collect property taxes until January. So everything's normal. Little bit of a bad news. I've been asked a couple times about student count. The student count compared to last year, we are down about 137 students. So at the October 1 count, we expected anywhere from about 140 to 150 less students this year than compared to last year, which of course is going to increase the deficit. We started the year with about a $680,000 deficit. So we're going to be looking at about a $1.4 million deficit after our October 1st count comes in. So that's where we at as far as budget goes and the student count goes. I welcome any questions any of y'all may have. Thank you all.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Jess.
I entertain a motion. No, to adjourn. I think that's it. I'm trying to get back. Yeah, dear. Thank you. Item 3.1, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam, make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Quibido. Second by Ms. James Etta. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Okay, good.
Ayes have it, motion carried.
Meeting of the Policy Committee called to order. Roll call.
District 3, Vito Adair.
Here.
District 7, James Higginbotham. District 4, Becky Atkinson.
Here.
District 6, Ike Richard.
Here.
District 8, Milton Seymour.
Here.
2.1, receive update on Head Start.
In your package, you should have a summary from the Head Start. At this time, they're reporting full enrollment of 314 students as of August 31st. A waiting list is currently in place. They are also in the process of completing required health, vision, and hearing screenings, which is required to be completed within the first 45 days of school. And they are also collecting all required documents for student files.
Thank you. 2.2, consider approval of a proclamation proclaiming September 2025 as Attendance Awareness Month.
I make a motion to consider approval of proclamation proclaiming September 2025 as Attendance Awareness Month.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Delos, second by Ms. Atkinson. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. 2.3, consider approval of an out-of-state travel request from Midland High School to travel to Orlando, Florida from April the 6th, 2026 to April the 1st, 2026.
I make a motion to consider approval of out-of-state travel request from Midland High School to travel to Orlando, Florida from April 6, 2026 to April 11, 2026.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
Okay, do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak on behalf of Midland?
On up, ladies.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me speak tonight. On behalf of the Midland High Dance Team, I'm here to ask you for your approval for an incredible opportunity. We've been invited to perform at Disney World on April 2026 as part of the Imagination Campus program, an audition-based experience. Since our team was brought back in 2024 after nearly 20 years of inactivity, we've grown so much. In just our first year, we've performed at collegiate basketball games, supported all of our school events, and successfully fundraised. Now in our second year, we've been invited to perform at Disney Springs, a huge milestone for us. This trip isn't just about performing, it's about professional level experience, teamwork, confidence, and personal growth. It also aligns with our district's goal of providing real-world learning opportunities beyond the classroom. Performing on a global stage will give us a chance to broaden our perspectives and represent Midland High with pride. Of our 17 dancers and managers, 16 will be traveling with a parent along with school-approved chaperones. The trip is planned for April 6th to 11th with our performance on April 7th. Thanks to our coach and Booster Club's fundraising plan, no dancer will be left out because of finances. Our coach has already met with our parents, and the support has been amazing so far. We will be so grateful for your approval of this opportunity. Thank you for considering it and for continuing to support our growth of our team. Thank you.
Riley.
That was very well
What are your
said.
names?
My name is Peyton Jones. Julian Guidry.
Now, Brian, this approval, this is the Midland Dance Line?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I didn't have it on there, so I was wondering. How many of y'all have on your dance team?
We have 15 and 2 managers,
15?
15 dancers.
Y'all perform where?
We've performed
At basketball games?
Yes, sir. We've performed at basketball games at our school. We've also performed at UL for one of theirs and McNeese for one of theirs. And then we had semifinals in Hammond of last year, and we also performed then.
How long been having a dance line? Second year?
Last year was our first year.
I'm pretty sure if we talk to the right people, we can get them to perform at a football game in Acadia Parish. Being we don't have football, I'm pretty sure.
Do what now?
I said, I'm pretty sure we could get the girls to dance at one of our football games, whether it be Iotas or Church Points or Rains or Crowleys.
I tell you what, we have an
we can work on that.
outstanding dance line at Iota.
Yep.
And y'all spend a week with them working, y'all could perform together on Friday night. That would be big.
We've taken a lot of inspiration from their team.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
amazing. Our
Yeah.
assistant coach is actually from
They,
Iota.
they really are good. Yeah.
I just want to say that, I'm sorry. Were you finished?
Do what?
Were you finished?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I just want to say that it takes a lot of commitment to do a big trip like this. And I appreciate you wanting to take that venture to represent our state and our community here in Acadia Parish, to go out and represent what we have to offer to students. So thank y'all for doing that, and I hope your fundraising and everything will go well, and you meet your targets to be able to travel and travel safely. We'll say prayers for you. Have safe travels.
We'll be looking for you all after April. We did have, thank you.
Thank
We
you,
did have
coaches.
a motion by Mr. Abear and second by Ms. Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second.
And off
Thank you, ladies, for being here tonight.
Off the record, make sure y'all have a good time.
Two point,
Y'all can come dance in here.
Yeah, but y'all dance, she has to do.
Do a short dance.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
2.4, receive update on strategic planning process.
This evening, we have with us Dina Hasiotis with Tuned, who is our, I guess, consultant, so to speak, who has been working with us since the beginning of August on our strategic planning process. So I think she has a brief overview to inform you guys of where we are in the process and exactly what is our purpose for strategic planning and what will the end result be.
Good evening, board members. My name is Dina Hasiotis, as Superintendent Hall said. I am a Chief Strategy Officer with Attuned Education Partners, which is it's a national organization. I live in New Orleans, though, and we've been partnering with the LDUE for 5 years now around doing strategic planning and then implementation support for parishes across the state. So we've been really excited to get to know Superintendent Hall and the team here and the schools in the planning process. We like to consider ourselves your partner in strategic planning, not your consultant, as we work with the team here and all of you to gain an understanding of where Acadia is right now in terms of student experiences and outcomes and your staff and where your community wants it to go. And so we work through a 4-phase process, which I think you have an overview in your packets that I'll just cover really quickly and then see if you have any questions. But we work through a phase of 1, making sure we kind of lay the foundation for the partnership, how we'll work and support the superintendent throughout about a 6 to 7 month time frame, and make sure that we have the right plans in place that are customized to your district and your needs, which we've done. So that was a lot of what we did in early August. And now we're currently in phase 2, which is gathering information to help diagnose where the district is and where it may want to go. And we do that through doing a lot of engagement. So I've had the chance to interview 2 of the board members. Thank you for your time. I think I've met with a principal who's actually here. We've connected with principals. We did focus groups today with students and staff and school leaders. We do classroom visits. So I'm here today and here for another couple days looking into classrooms just to get a quick peek into what it feels like to be a student in Acadia. And we also look at quantitative data, so things like your academic outcomes and other key data points to build a report that we'll give to the superintendent, and all of you can have access to that, where we just share some trends on where Acadia sits compared to the state on some factors, but also just elevates the voices of your community to help you all think about where you want to go next. And so we use that as the basis for phase 3, which is strategic planning, which is probably what folks are most familiar with when you start to get to, okay, so what's our plan, what's our roadmap? And we'll work typically to help districts identify 4 to 6 priorities that emerge. Sometimes it can be 3 for the next 3 to 5 years. And that's a process that we'll go through as we look at the data to say, these are the areas of most importance that we want to focus on. And then we drill down 1 level below that to then say, so what are the key projects under those focus areas that deserve time, attention, and resources from the central team? And then ultimately, your leaders and teachers in the classrooms, depending on the work that's identified there. And we go 1 more step too. So sometimes you'll see those, you all have been board members, I'm sure here for a long time, you've seen strategic plans in your past, either personal or professional career. We don't just identify the high level work, we also then go 1 level down to prepare the team for implementation in year 1. So any piece of work that's identified for the 26-27 school year will help them identify a roadmap for how to get that work done over that time, which is just helpful. So if I worked in New Orleans, Orleans Parish schools for years, like having a clear plan for where you want to go was helpful to me in my role. So we do that. It also helps the superintendent hold her team accountable. So there's a clear roadmap of, we invested this time, we've told the community we're going to focus on this, what are our steps to get the work done? And we will also help her and the team build a scorecard to track impact over time with a lot of metrics that you probably already follow related to what the state identifies as some key priorities around student outcomes and other areas, depending on what emerges in the planning process. And then in that last stage, which I just pivoted to around the scorecard, we'll also make sure there's good plans for how to communicate this out to you all, to your community, to your schools and your families, initially and ongoing, because we very much want to make sure the superintendent and the team is prepared to carry the work forward into the future. And so, and we're working with, and that the timeline, we will aim to be done by early February. So that sort of helps. We hope to hit around budgeting time too, so that as you look to the future, if there's new work you want to undertake or if there's significant challenges around your budget, that can inform the final decisions before you pivot into the new school year. And we're working with a subcommittee of the senior leadership team here that will sit, we call it a steering committee, but they'll sit and sort of review all this information and we'll guide them through a series of meetings and discussions on what we hear from the community along the way. And one other aspect I'll share, we did focus groups today, but what's neat, I think, about our process too, when we get about halfway through and identify some of those big areas of focus and work to do, we'll return to teachers, school leaders, and families and students to say, how does this sound to you? What do you think about this? To make sure it still resonates or if there's something missing from their point of view, and then bring that back to the team to wrestle with. So that's it in a nutshell. I know I just shared a lot in a short amount of time, but we're excited to be here and welcome any questions or superintendent, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you covered it all, other than if you have not responded to the survey,
Yes.
please take a few minutes, anyone in the audience, to give your feedback in our survey. I think we were going to hold it open a few more days. So I think we've had about half of the board that has responded. So if you haven't done so, please take an opportunity to express what you feel Acadia does well and what are some things that maybe we don't do so well that we need to rethink. So if you're vested in helping move Acadia forward, please take the time to give your feedback in that forum. It's anonymous.
Go ahead.
So strategic planning, I would assume you would be planning strategies. What's some examples of simple strategies that's going to get back to that child in the classroom?
That's a good question. I'm sure the superintendent has some answers. I think sometimes we land on, it gets down to how teachers are using their time. So when we go into the classroom reserve and then do focus groups, sometimes it's how are we setting up those lessons? What skills do teachers need to be able to carry out those lessons well? So some specific strategies could be around what is your approach to providing teachers professional development opportunities? How often? What do those look like? What are they focused on? So help the team think through those. Sometimes it's around student engagement. So some students may not be feeling as hooked in or engaged in the classroom. So we'll help the team generate some ideas. But those vary depending on the community. And also what we'll do in our planning process is not necessarily give the answer, but it will say the team needs to identify ways to improve student engagement, let's say in middle schools, for example, just as an example. And then think about the process that they need to go about to do that to help generate new strategies. But then sometimes teams identify very clearly that we actually may need to do more for teacher recruitment, let's say, to get teachers who we feel like are better prepared to support students, because right now across the state, attracting high quality teachers is really difficult. So what are some of the partnerships in place that we can build, or what are the training opportunities? So it varies. Does that help?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Have not we been doing that for years?
We have this will just is a more focused process to make sure that whatever we're defining as our goals or our mission for Acadia Parish, that the work that we do over the next several years always focuses back to those priorities. So it's making sure that we have that alignment both in our budget, in our curricula, in all things that will at the end of the day impact student outcomes. So a lot of, like today we had a student, high school student focus group. As far as I know, in Acadia Parish, that's probably one of the rare times that we've actually gotten student feedback. They were on a Zoom call with another partner from Attuned, where they sat with high school students from all 5 of the high schools and participated in their opinions about the quality of their instruction, engagement, their whole high school experience. So it's taking all of that data, what the community feels we do well and maybe what we don't do well, what the board's opinion is, what are our teachers, what are our school leaders. So we're actually gathering all of that feedback to make sure that we can all sit in this horseshoe and decide what goals and missions are. But if we don't ask every stakeholder that's involved in Acadia Parish what they feel is best to move Acadia Parish forward, I don't know that those goals have any direct impact. So this process is really to help us become a stronger school system where all of our goals are aligned, and at the end of the day, it impacts what happens in that classroom every day. So it's aligning our budget, our professional development, the work of the teachers in the classroom down to the student work.
Now, who will be the leaders or coaches, whatever, in this office to make sure this is implemented and to be focused on?
Basically, thankfully, through the grant from LDOE, we received $100,000 to be considered a strong system for this school year. I think they pick a certain number of districts to participate, reaching out to districts surrounding us that have been involved in the process and have done work through Attuned. They came highly recommended. So thankfully, Dina and her team, as partners for us, they are doing a lot of the legwork that superintendents and their team attempt to do on their own, as far as doing focus groups, doing surveys, taking all of our artifacts. Dina and them have collected sample instructional leadership team agendas. They've taken teacher collaboration agendas. They've taken samples of student work. They're looking at our assessment data. They're looking at our professional development agendas. They're looking at all sources of data, not just test scores or not just input. And then through the classroom observations as well, developing a plan for us to help us have a roadmap that myself and my team will then execute. We're not asking for additional staff. It's just refocusing what we do here at central office that's going to align to those goals.
If I could just add to your point of that doesn't sound like so much new. Sometimes there's not a lot of new. Some new ideas emerge, and then a lot of the process too is pushing a central office team to question, well, we focused on this before, but why aren't we getting the desired outcome we want? Or why do people still feel like they need more help? Or if our students want richer extracurricular experiences, so more dance, for example, whatever it may be, why haven't we been able to do that? And what we try to do is facilitate a process, really, of your senior leaders to interrogate why we are where we're at. And if we're gonna say we want to improve this, what's needed to do that? What behaviors, actions, and steps are they gonna take to really drive that change in a new way or strengthen what's already been done? So sometimes we're underway, we're doing things that are working. How do we strengthen that? What do we need as a team of each other to strengthen that impact and work? So it just varies depending.
Okay, and I hope it works. I really hope it gets to that child sitting in the classroom. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to sound negative, but I was in education for 37 years and I've been on the board for 20. That sounds like a program sent down from the State Department, that it sounds good, it looks good on paper, but it never gets to the classroom. And that's why I wish this thing here would focus on improvement inside the classroom. And if that's the case, I think it's going to be a tremendous help to us.
Yeah. building the connection. We work with superintendents now that I'm supporting some superintendents year 2, 3, and still focusing on how do you make sure your vision, your expectations translate to what's happening in the classroom every day. And that is the magic that needs to happen. Otherwise, it does just sort of sound good. So we do our best to try to push that thinking and support it.
That's true. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Well, so with the strategic planning, I have a couple of questions. What is the implementation process? Like, I mean, how many years will the plan cover? Like, will it be a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan, and then we reassess every year or every so many months or quarters or whatever as to what were the things that we decided that we were going to target? Because that is a big concern of mine of what are we going to target? Because student enrollment is an issue in our district, and there are pockets where some schools, the enrollment is okay, but there are other places where the enrollment is not okay. And there are some places where we can staff with certified teachers, and there's some places in our district where we don't have certified teachers. And there's a big major turnover there every year. So, those are big concerns of mine. I don't know if that was expressed by the board members you interviewed, but I'd like to see that some of these things that are kind of like a bleeding wound that we need to get to, and we need to address it. I would hope that that would be a part of that. And the other thing is I'd like to know what other districts that y'all have done in Louisiana that we can maybe do a little research on our own and look at and see how your program helped them. Just, kind of like references or just a track record, so we can have some kind of idea of what we're going to expect to see through this process, because it's a lot of work that you're going to do, but it's a lot of work on our district, and it's more work on teachers' backs and administrators' backs to sit in discussion groups and all these things. And I just, want us to use our time productively and wisely. And I know that's a goal of Ms. Talls and her leadership team here. I just want to be a little more well-informed, I guess.
Those are great questions. In terms of your first, so our goal is to set up the team to draft out a 5-year plan. 5 years is a long time.
Yeah.
We work to sequence it out so that, because everything can't get done in year 1, but it is set up to create a 5-year plan. Folks sometimes revisit that in 3 years or 5 years, but we also will recommend ongoing progress monitoring procedures for how the senior leadership team can connect, like really dive into the plan on typically around a quarterly cadence and make recommendations for how the superintendent can come speak to all of you. So we do that as a part of our process through the partnership with the State Department of Education. We also coach leaders on that progress monitoring process and support them because they too want to make sure that things are followed through and it's still transparent and open. So there's some recommendations in place for how that can get done, and then teams need to really embrace that and create time and space for it. Time is precious, as you said, so we really do try to make the most of it and ensure that any time that we're engaging with teams, it's well spent. And we definitely can share. I've supported 6 or 7 districts overall. My organization supported 25 in strategic planning. Nearby, I've supported St. Martin, St. Landry, Washita, several around New Orleans. We've worked with DeSoto. There's many. Like the list goes on. So we can share that with you all. And if you have your own context with other board members, you can engage together. I'm happy to share that. But it's been over 25.
I think I've done Evangeline and
Yeah,
Iberville as
Evangeline,
well.
Iberville, Point Capee, a lot. Yeah. Currently this year we're working with Grant and Beauregard.
Yeah, I'd like to see that because I think we need to have a little better perspective about what's going to be happening here.
For sure.
And if we can see what's going on, then we know what our level of engagement needs to be as a board member to support of what is going to be happening here, because we should be,
We very much try to aim to create an opportunity for the superintendent to share with you what the plan is, given that you all charge her with that, and then so that you can hold her accountable to those outcomes and those actions that she'll take. So we try to set that up for you all.
We just don't want it to sound good. We want it to be good.
Yeah.
And that to help our children.
I feel you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other discussion?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you and enjoy your few days here in Acadia Parish. 2.5, consider approval of 2025-2026 AMI contract.
I have a quick question. Is the contract the same as it's been?
The contract is the same as it has been for the last probably 10 years or so, I guess, that we've been with them. The last time we had the contract, the question had come up from the board regarding number 8, which was the inclusion or not of AMI's accountability or their data in our district performance score. So in collaboration with the Department of Education, I did reach out to them a couple of weeks ago, inquiring why were we in fact being held responsible for the data of the AMI, Acadiana's kids, when we have we're just basically a flow through of funds. We don't have any ownership of the curriculum, what happens educationally on that campus. They requested to see the agreement. We talked through how the structure works here in Acadia Parish compared to other marine institutes that are more of like a day school. Because we're a residential facility, it's a little bit different than how some of the other programs work within the state for AMI. So they did respond in an email stating that as of that email date moving forward, AMI's scores will no longer be included and impact our district performance score. So we will
Will they be included, they included this year?
we're hoping not. We're gonna hold them to.
That's the same thing they told us last year when we fussed about.
Well, we
this.
did not have anything in writing. So as we get our district performance score, if there is anything that is related to AMI Kids Acadiana, we do at least have a communication between myself and LDOE as of the date that they emailed that there was no longer any connection to Acadia Parish for school performance scores.
What happens if we don't approve the contract?
That we just would not, Evan, we would, I mean, it's,
Don't approve the contract, you just don't have a contractual relationship.
I mean, we just don't have a relationship with AMI.
I just wanted to make sure the contracts are the same.
It is the same language. That language has been in there since the beginning. I would say probably about 5 or 6 years ago, it flipped where they started including that. I do know the prior superintendent had reached out to the Department of Education. He was not successful in getting that disconnected, the scores removed from our DPS. We were able to get that taken care of this school year, so.
But if it stays, Ms. Tall, in our test scores, then I feel.
Then the board has the
as a-
right to not
As a
enter.
board, we need to have the attorney
Correct,
take care of this situation.
correct.
All right, man. I make a motion to approve, consider approval of 2025-2026 AMI contract.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Abear, second by Ms. Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Move we adjourn.
3, sir?
Move we adjourn.
3, closing, adjourn. Motion and second? Okay, Mr. Milton made the motion, second by Mr. Richard. Meet adjourned.
Thank you, ma'am.
Appreciate y'all.